Okay, by now you have logged in to your account, so you're in the class using your first name and 123. On the upper right hand side, you should see a create button, and we're going to create 3D design. And I'm just going to walk you through the basics here in terms of how to get set up and navigate. When you go in, your settings might be metric. For the sake of this class, we're going to change it to imperial, and you can make your size of your space 12 by 12. That's fine. And then if you want to hit make default, you won't have to keep clicking on that. It'll stay in inches. All right, and then close settings. What I'm going to do is drag a cube out onto what's called the work plane. And if you come up here to the left-hand side, you will see what's called the navigation cube. If you click on front, you get a front perspective. I'm holding down the right button of the mouse that I'm using. If you have a tablet, you can just swipe the screen. But if you hold down the right button of a mouse, it allows you to look from different perspectives. If you click on top with a left click, you get a top view. And if you look at the right side, you get a right view. You can also spin the cube around like so, using little arrows above and below the cube. But you can always click on home. If you click on home, it'll bring you to this view right here that shows a little bit of the top and a little bit of the front. All right, now I'm going to use my scroll wheel to zoom in a little bit to show some detail. So we've got white dots and black dots. This white dot on the top, you can drag. I'm holding down the left button to change the height of the object. And for the sake of this class, usually we'll change the height to 1/8 of an inch because that's the thickness of the wood that we're using. If you go to one of these white corners right here and drag it, you can actually change 2 dimensions at the same time, which can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. Sometimes you just want to change 1 dimension at a time, so then you would use the black dots. So this black dot or this black dot or this one, right? And you can drag and it'll just extend in 1 dimension at a time. You can also click on these numbers right here to type in an exact dimension. Okay. And if you want to move this piece up and down, there's a little arrow right here, and this will lift it up off the work plane. So now if I look at the front view, you can see that it's kind of floating above the work plane. If you want to bring it back down to the work plane, you can click on the object and then click on this little symbol right here. It's got the arrow pointing down. It says drop to work plane, and that'll put it right back down. All right. The feature that we're going to utilize the most in class is actually the sketch tool. And when I bring this out, it kind of puts me in sketch mode. And we've got these different tools over here to sketch with. You might want to just play around with it for fun. Right now, it's just drawing straight lines. So if I click once, and click again, and then click again, I can just keep clicking. And you want to go all the way back to where you started, generally speaking. So that's how you do a sketch. And then we can also modify the sketch by clicking on this symbol right here. And what that allows you to do is fix any mistakes you might have. So if I want to drag these points to a new location, I can do so. If I realize I didn't have enough detail across the bottom of my sketch, I can add new points. I can click here, add remove points, and let's say I just say click, click, click. I add 4 new points, and then I'm done adding points, so I can click on this arrow, and now I can drag those points into position. So maybe there's a little feature I forgot to add at the bottom. You might notice that the points are snapping onto the grids. These grids are 1/8 of an inch. The snap right now is set to 1/8 of an inch. If you want to add more precision to your points, you can change that. For example, if I say 1/16 of an inch, now when I drag these points, I can not just land at the intersection of the grid lines, but I can kind of go halfway. Right? So that would be if you needed to do that. All right, those are just some basic things. I'm also going to teach you how to draw some curved lines and whatnot. I don't want to overwhelm you in one video, but just something to play around with. Notice what happens when I hit Finish Sketch. I get that piece. And again, to make it look like a piece of wood, I might shrink it down to 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and you can move these pieces around, and we can rotate them as well. So if I click on it, I can use these arrows to rotate the piece. And if I stay within these curved, like this curved dark circle with sections, I can rotate it exactly 90 degrees. If you go outside that section, it rotates in 1 degree increments. So generally we're going to stay inside this little area and rotate maybe 90 degrees so we can build the sides of the car relative to the base of the car. And then we can move pieces around. We'll say, oh, it's not supposed to intersect, so we can lift it up. Oh, sorry. What I'm doing right now is called panning. I'm pressing down on my scroll wheel just to kind of recenter everything. You can also click this symbol to recenter everything. And then I might say, oh, that piece is too low. Let's drag it up. That's probably too high. Maybe the front view is the best perspective. You know, and also right now we're using like a true like perspective, like two-dimensional 3D perspective, like I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. It's like your two eyes working together. Sometimes it's easier to switch to orthographic where everything is flat, and then you can know that the pieces are lined up, so to speak, sitting on top of each other. Anyway, those are the basics. You know, navigation. So holding down the right button is a nice way to look at things from a different perspective. Using the navigation cube is a nice way to look at things from a different perspective. Clicking the home button is a nice way to kind of reorient yourself. Clicking this symbol right here kind of zooms and recenters to your pieces. And the sketch tool is really the big one that we're going to use to design the sides of our car. So feel free to play around with it. If you just want to wait till the class, that's cool too. And if you want to hit me up with a question, shoot me an email and I'll try to respond right away.